Hi, I am Shane with the Drum Center of Portsmouth in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We're on the web at drumcenternh.com, and today we are doing a shootout. That's right, a real shootout, a three-way shootout. DW offers a lot of options when it comes to your shells. That's wonderful in that there's this whole palette, we've got all these options, but for someone who's looking to get a drum set, it's sort of daunting because they're like, well, what's the sound difference between this, that, or the other? So we have three of these kits. One is an all cherry shell, one is an all cherry mahogany shell, and one is purple heart. For the veneer, we have this exotic Paduk wood with what they call a candy stripe finish. They're really gorgeous drums. So these have the nickel hardware and they're all the same sizes. So we have the 22-inch bass drum. We have the 10-inch tom that's 8 inches deep, 12 by 9, 14, 14, 16, 16, and then a 6.5 by 14 snare. We had the same heads on them and we did our best to tune them as accurately to each other as we could, and we're just gonna play these drums so you get to hear the differences. The commentary you're gonna get from me on these three drum sets is before I've heard what it sounds like through the audio mix. We'll have some more commentary from Tony on the audio side of things. I hope you find this helpful. I hope you find it enjoyable. I hope you find it entertaining. And please remember, if you're trying to put together a set, a custom set from DW or any of the major companies, please consider us and hopefully we can help you out. Kit number one is cherry mahogany. Cherry is a very bright wood, lots of attack, and really pronounced mids where mahogany is going to give you some lows. Lots of boom, and so I found the boom with this one significantly, especially the 12-inch tom was insane. It was just like, I felt like I was dribbling a 90-pound basketball. It's just big sound. Snare drum fit right in with the kit really well. I can't say there was anything about it that made it different from the kit, which is good. You know, it seemed to blend really well. I think this is good for the big note type drummer. You know, the pat boom, Debbie boom type fills. They have that real big sound. Next up, Purple Heart. When I sat down behind the kit, my first impression was, wow, these are alive. They seem to have that projection. I felt like they were really projecting more than, say, the cherry mahoganies. They just had more of a sharp sound. Now, mind you, that's the sound I am drawn to. I tend to like a nice low fundamental note with clean stick articulation. I felt like I was getting that out of the Purple Heart. The snare drum was hands down the winner of the day. I think that snare drum right away, I just hit that, like, yep, the snare drum was really, it was awesome. And the bass drum was great too. The toms, I felt the rack toms, they were really giving me all that juice. The floor toms may have been too low. I may have found that the floor toms may want to come up tuning-wise a little bit. I'm really looking forward to hearing what it sounds like in the mix. This kit is the pure cherry, and so this is just the 100% cherry shell. So I was really excited to play this one because I have played DW cherry kits in the past. So I was familiar with the sound. Cherry makes a great shell for drums. It's just not commonly used. I'm a big birch fan, and so cherry is very close to that. It has a bit of attack. But what was strange about this particular setup was that when we played it, it sounded more subdued, I think, than the Purple Heart did. The Purple Heart seemed to come alive, and the cherry seemed a little bit more mellow, which was really kind of cool. I have a tendency to play aggressively, and I can be, let's say, lacking nuance.
Rock and roll!
And so the Purple Heart sort of, works for a guy like me. The cherry, I feel, might be a better fit for a finesse player, somebody that isn't as ham-fisted as I am. It had a mellow sound, but that was incredibly balanced. The whole kit seemed to feel really, really good. And I remember being drawn to the floor toms on this particular kit. Really great sound.
Hi, I'm Tony, and I wanted to give you some background on how we went about recording. For the heads, we used DW's smooth double A's on all of the tom batters and clear single ply for the resonance. The snare drum, we used a coated double A with their standard resonant snare side head. And on the bass drum, we used smooth white Power Stroke 3 on the batter, and then a ebony Power Stroke 3 on the resonant with a 4-inch offset hole. In regards to the tuning of the drums, we wanted to try to keep it as scientific as possible, so I ended up using a TuneBot, the gig version, and that gave me much greater control over the consistency of the tuning. So from kit to kit, they're tuned the exact same note. Any differences that you hear in pitch between the three kits is entirely due to the fundamental of the shell construction and not of the tuning. And that is why we did this experiment in the first place. For the kick drum, we used an Audix D6 about halfway through inside the bass drum, pointed slightly off axis, as well as a Shure KSM 32 about 6 inches in front of the bass drum. On the snare drum, we use an Earthworks SR20LS, which is a great all-around mic. On the toms, we used the new Earthworks DM20s. For the overhead, we used a single Earthworks SR25. As for the mixing, it was an extremely simple and quick task. I enjoyed it. We didn't have to do any EQing to any of the individual channels. The only thing I did was apply a high-pass filter on the toms to get rid of a little bit of the low-end rumble in there. But other than that, everything was dry. It was all about the balance, and that was easy as well. These are 3 very high-end drum sets that are all built to the exact same tight tolerances and high specifications. The differences that you will hear are going to be quite subtle. To help you fully appreciate the subtle differences in these kits, we are now going to put them side by side. We recommend that you use high-end headphones or high-quality speakers. That will really help you appreciate these kits.
So I know people are going to ask, what was your favorite? And I think what's important for me to note here is that if you get this kit, one of these kits, you're not going to be unhappy. They all sound awesome. If I had to pick one, it's definitely between the first 2, the Cherry Mahogany and the Purple Heart. Purple Heart snare, no questions asked. Love that snare drum. That was just awesome. I feel like that 12-inch Cherry Mahogany tom was sublime. So was the 16 on that kit. So Purple Mahogany. That'll be, I don't know. I can't really pick a winner. So I'm interested to hear in the comments what one you liked, and that way we can sort of tabulate what the most popular one was. One thing that we do here, everybody that you're going to talk to here is a drummer, and we know this gear inside and out, and we are obsessed with sound. So when it comes to putting together your kit, I hope that you'll find us to be a good resource for you, because we want to get the order the way you want it. And we want to have you sounding as best as you possibly can.